So, a vision of the future. I would make a very bad Jedi. Yoda would hate me. Always looks to the future, this one. Never his mind on where he is, what he is doing. Future, past, whichever. Yes, retro, and I am very much into I like to follow technology, and I'm fascinated by the future. Comes from being into sci-fi, I guess. So, as you may know, I've been on a bit of a virtual reality thing just recently. Inspired by the whole Google Cardboard thing, and so I made my own headset, and I my last video was just how I saw that kind of VR going, but it made me ponder a bit and think a bit further ahead, extrapolating, shall we say. And some of this is stuff I've talked about already, but the ideas are a bit more refined in my head. Some of them actually some of them have kind of formed from conversation and ideas as mentioned by Mitch Crane. He left some comments that were very interesting and got me thinking, and so I've incorporated some of them into this. So thank you, Mitch. I like the way you think. Where to start? Okay, well, the headset will be compact, but, and this is something Mitch referred to, a curved screen. So it comes round from the side and curves in front of you. I mean, it's going to need to be compact, but I don't know how close it can be. It's probably going to be fairly close to your eyes, and maybe, I mean, is it going to look like, what's his face, Geordie LaForge in Star Trek? Maybe. It probably won't look weird. When you see some of the things some people are wearing on the street these days, sunglasses that are like huge big things, yeah, a little bit into the future, weird shit on your face probably won't look weird. Obviously you will need lenses, and the lenses won't cover the entirety of your vision, because they don't. I mean, these are bigger glasses than my old ones, but I can still see outside of them. But to me that's not weird, and even wearing small glasses is not weird. You have a well-focused area in front of you, and then the periphery is blurred. And that's how this curved screen would work. But that would be fine, because really your peripheral vision is not crystal clear. In fact, it's not actually even in colour, if I'm not mistaken. With a super duper high resolution curved screen and like close focusing lenses and dual cameras on your headset, like, I don't know, just wherever they can fit them, maybe right slap bang on the front of your the other side of the screen, so they're exactly where your eyes would be, something like that, you would see the world on a screen. So I'm not talking about virtual reality now, I'm talking augmented reality. You spend your day with this headset on, and you see the world on a screen in front of you. The resolution is so high, the lenses on the little cameras are that good. You probably can't tell the difference, and if you can, you won't care. And why wouldn't you care? Well, we'll get into that and a whole lot more. I've got notes here because there's so much I could forget. Right, this is another thing, this is an idea developed from the conversation with Mitch. Media. The the reality that you're perceiving through this headset, shall we say, will start in the home. You won't need a TV, you won't need a radio, you won't need a stereo or any of that, because it will all be in your headset. Now, you might, yes, you can sit and watch a movie and have it fill your whole vision, but you might not always want that. So you could have an area in the room, maybe a box sitting somewhere, or maybe it's a place on the wall. And have you seen the augmented reality that you can get on some phones or on the 3DS, where you've got a flat surface with a pattern on it, say like a bullseye kind of pattern or whatever. It's a specified pattern that the software recognises, and it puts a graphical object onto that. Now you can have you could have different patterns representing different things on objects in your home. So you'll have a particular pattern on a particular area, box, something in your room, and when you look at it, while in the real world it's a grey box or a grey square on the wall, through your headset, completely merged in with the rest of the reality that you're seeing through the camera lens, through the cameras, you got a TV, voice activated or whatever, so you can have two people sitting in the same room, or 3 or 5 or however many people you like, all looking at the same grey area or box or whatever it is in the room, all watching a different channel. Your entire music library will be, you probably don't need a visual representation of a radio because you only hear the radio in your ears and you can still see the rest of the room, so whatever. But think about this, not just media being represented virtually, but what about the whole room? Your walls are white with the specified pattern. You could have like pattern number 1, pattern number 2, pattern number 3, pattern number 4 on the skirting boards. Everything is white, but with the pattern on it. And you can go into your preferences, shall we say, and decide what is going to be displayed on pattern 1 or pattern 2 or pattern 3. So you can have different people all in the same room, seeing the room represented in a completely different way. Different wallpaper, different colours of wall, shall we say, different pictures on the wall, different colour skirting boards, sofa, generic sofa, but you see it as a particular kind of colour, fabric, whatever. I mean, you're going to have a very generic feel, and I don't think they'll be able to do anything about that, but everything that is non-mechanical, if it can be represented virtually and made to look differently, why not? There are an awful lot of things you can do. The pictures on the wall. Some things you obviously can't do that, like go into your kitchen, your microwave still needs to be a microwave, your kettle still needs to be a kettle. But things that display stuff and things that you listen to, they can be virtual. Infrared vision. You could have, I don't know how far you could take this, but you could do away potentially with lighting, perhaps. I don't, it's iffy. You could certainly save a lot of fuel, electricity bills or stuff with that, but maybe that's going a little bit too far. Certainly that outside, indoors maybe not so much, but outdoors the potential for that is great. Do it, but batteries, no, probably not, that's probably going too far. But stepping outdoors, telephoto vision, you're seeing the world on a screen in front of you. But who's to say those cameras need to just show it at the distance you would normally see it? You could zoom in and look at that castle on the hill that's a mile away and see it as if it's, depends on the quality of the lenses or whatnot, but it would be your reality that you're seeing on your screen, like with your own eyes, but it would be like zooming your own eyes, and that would be cool. Which reminds me, yes, people have asked me, doesn't it hurt with my headset? People have said, doesn't it hurt your eyes, or isn't it, will I have trouble seeing that? I tell you, for me, with those lenses that I set up, the twin reading glasses, that is actually easier on my eyes than sitting here looking at my TV screen over there. I'm reading the text on my comments on one of my previous videos, and it's harder for me to do this than it is to sit and stare at my VR headset screen through those lenses. I could do that all day and it would not hurt my eyes at all. So, and now I have trouble with my eyes, as you know, apart from all the clinical crap that goes on with them, short-sighted, but also need bifocals for reading, because I can't, what's the word they use, accommodation, changing from distance to close-up. My eyes just won't do it, the lenses and the muscles and whatever, I'm old. With a headset, you're focused at a fixed point all the time, constantly, and the lenses make it really easy on your eye. I suppose if you got used to that and then took them off, you'd have trouble, but it would, a thing like that would enable me to look at this and then look up at that and then look out there and see something 2 miles away without having to adjust my focus at all. Just so easy, let the cameras do it for you. I could see benefits for some people, certainly people like me. Gimme, I want some. Yeah, connectivity. 4G connectivity or whatever is better than that when it comes out. But 4G would probably do it. It would need to be widespread. You would not want to find yourself disconnected, very likely. Some of the stuff would still work. Some of it you wouldn't want to be disconnected. But the potential is there. They see it all about in the future and stuff. Now, driving aid. Yeah, sat nav in your own eyes, so to speak. You could, if everyone's got this thing on, you could see, you'd have your GPS, you'd have your typical sat nav, but it could tell you if there's another vehicle coming around the corner. If that person's got a headset on, everything's networked, everything's connected up to whatever, and you would know, is there another vehicle coming around that blind bend that I can't see around? Should I slow down or whatever? The safety potential is pretty gobsmacking. Not to mention it being able to tell you if you're going too fast for a particular bend anyway. Yes, the ability, you could find someone in a crowd. The whole network aspect of it, if it's all hooked up to 4G. Kind of like, say, have you ever been in a crowd at a concert or a convention or something, and you've gone there with your friend and you've lost them? You've got your phone, they've got their phone, you ring them, it's hard to hear them, and even when you can hear them, it's like, where the hell are they if you're in the middle of a crowd? With, I'm not going to say GPS, but you know, the kind of tracking stuff that you can have. I mean, you're going to have various radio, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and 4G and whatever. It's probably very possible to triangulate things down to a very accurate position. I know that my phone has got a tracking thing on it where you can find me on, well, I can find me, you can't. I can find me on Google Maps down to the nearest room in this house via my phone. That's now. That's just with current technology, and it's going to go a bit more advanced than that in the future. Networking, but you know, you could be in a crowd and tell your headset, find whoever, your friend, and it can put a big arrow over their head or highlight them in the crowd, and you'll be able to find them. And you just see this. You're not holding a phone, like it's in your vision. That you know, augmented reality, the potential for it to show you information where things are and stuff is, I mean, it exists already. It's on the iPhone and Android anyway, but you kind of have to hold your phone up and look around, and it highlights stuff for you. And you got to have a good connection. I've used it, and I found the connection was quite slow, and that was like, well, it wasn't quite 3G. But if you've got 4G, and processors are going to be faster, and to have it in your line of sight and not have to hold up a phone, awesome. All of this technology, kind of expensive, you would think, I actually don't think so. The technology itself, largely everything I'm talking about exists already. What we don't have is it all put together in a single product, and what we don't have is the infrastructure yet, and maybe the will to do it. And you'll know what I'm talking about in a little bit. This is where it starts getting creepy. Headsets shouldn't be too expensive, but not everyone can afford them. I mean, I've got this phone as part of my mobile phone provider contract. It otherwise would have cost over 200 quid, something like that. About £200 something. Couldn't afford that, but free on a contract. Now, will such headsets be provided in that way by the phone or carrier provider? Maybe, but maybe they will be subsidized by the manufacturer. And who might manufacture a thing like this? Well, Google, Facebook, Apple, big tech companies, influential, who are into more than just manufacturing tech. They've kind of got a finger in every pie. And how would they finance this? Why would they subsidise it? Well, they get to control your reality. They could control advertising that appears on your virtual TV. They could control advertising that appears on virtual billboards as you walk down the street. And, well, those billboards don't have to be stationary banners, do they? They can be talking to you. And they get to control what you see. Now, yes, they're not going to interfere with your real world, whatever the real world is by then, but you know, they will influence stuff, advertising, but more than that, politics, the news, the way the news is presented to you, newspapers, what's his name, bloody Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch. He has a massive influence over politics and people's perception of political parties. Some people just believe what they read, or they believe what they see on the telly. I think anyone who believes what they see on Fox is completely demented, but some people think that's reality. Now you imagine a corporation that can influence your reality and your perception of it that much. Very, very, very powerful. They could influence who gets into power. And why would they do that? Well, tax breaks, I guess. Money. Money talks. We've seen in politics in Britain, in America, and God knows wherever else, politicians will bend over forwards to do whatever suits them where money is concerned. You know, big companies giving them big money for big campaigns so they can get in power, and then they've got to pay them back by passing laws that are beneficial to those companies and absolutely not beneficial to the public. You could see all kinds of... You could see that going. It's creepy. It really is. Now, there would be your typical military applications. Yeah. If all your soldiers are networked, and you're looking over there and you can see those soldiers over there, and there's another soldier on your side over here, and he's behind a wall but he's looking the other way, he can't see what you can see, but if you're networked, he could look through that wall and see where the people you can see are. Something like that. You kind of have some kind of tagging. I mean, it basically would be like Battlefield 3, 4, whatever, where you tag a person. Satellites are hooked in. You know, they could tie in with your Battlefield network and tag enemy soldiers and keep track of them and their position so that you can see where they are, even if they're out of your line of sight. The potential is gobsmacking. Well, they've got night vision already anyway, but the whole networked thing within your own field of vision, no holding a computer or pad or tablet or whatever, it's all in your own eyes, if you like. Good for the military. Probably not a bad thing. But here's a scary thing. Security services. We know that our governments, Britain and America especially, and who knows wherever else, are perfectly happy to tap into all of our internet activities, steal the data, read it, do whatever the hell they like with it, completely unaccountable. So, they know where you are, they know what you're doing, they can see exactly what you can see, they might even be recording it, because everything's hooked up. That's creepy. Privacy out of the window. Why would you let them? They might not let you not let them. They might not let you not wear all this crap. A few years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, not being on the internet was not a big deal. There were not many things that you would find that you couldn't do if you didn't have the internet. These days, if you don't have the internet, you are really quite limited. Shopping, yes, you can still go out to the shops, but it's kind of, well, high street shops are not doing so well. Even supermarkets and stuff, all right, they're doing okay, but internet shopping is booming. And how long before there are some things you just can't go into a shop to buy? Music? Videos? We're not quite there yet, but we're not far off. And how long before everything is like that? So the internet is becoming essential. Well, they could just happen to make it that way with augmented reality, so that if you're not plugged in, you're kind of screwed. It would be in government's interest because they like to snoop. And I think addiction would... I mean, there was a thing in the news recently about internet addiction. Someone who'd been using Google Glass for an extended period, 18 months I think it was. They granted, they were recovering alcoholic as well and suffering from whatever other addictions, but they were showing symptoms of like internet addiction. And I think augmented reality all the time, I mean, when would you take it off apart from to go to sleep? I think once you got into it, it would be hard to stop, because the benefits would be brilliant. It would be addictive, and I do think governments would make it hard for you to not. After a while, government, companies, corporations, I could see a lot of pressure to encourage, coerce people to use this, because control. And one last thing, if you're tied in, you've got your headset, you're on the network, you've got the augmented reality, you've got a pattern on the wall dictates what colour your wallpaper is, kind of technology on there, and that's standard and everyone has it. Security services, secret police, wearing a bodysuit with a pattern on it that renders them invisible. You can't see them. Not quite sure how they would... They'd have to figure out something so that there was a representation of what was behind them. Maybe, not sure. Seems doable with a little bit of technology somewhere, like recollection of what was there before they were standing there. There might be some blurring of the edges or something, but wow. Yes, the potential there for virtual invisibility. I mean, yes, take your headset off and you could find there are loads of people around you who you didn't know were there. Scary stuff, though. I mean, you would probably have an underclass of people who were existing in the world without their augmented reality for whatever reason. I mean, it would have to be like a black market. You'd need it for commerce, to go buy stuff, whatever. Would shops still exist? Would everything be delivered to you after you've ordered it and stuff? I don't know, but you know, some kind of underclass. There it is. This might sound far-fetched. I'm not saying this is how the future is going to be. I'm saying this is how a future could be. The technology already exists, largely. There might be a few little details that need ironing out, but none of that is impossible, none of that is far-fetched. Everything is doable. Most of it is doable with what we've got right now. It just needs putting together in a package, and the infrastructure putting together, and the political will or coercion and the corporate influence. That's a future. Parts of it I think are fantastic and I want it, and parts of it are quite scary. And I could see both happen. When? On a technical level, that could be happening 5 years from now. I don't think it will. I think in reality, that is a likely future 20 years from now. Very likely. If YouTube is still in existence 20 years from now, and I'm like a doddery 66-year-old geezer and still making online whatever, on you hologram, yeah, on you hologram 20 years from now, if this video still exists, I told you so. Actually, it won't be you hologram, because you can have your holograms within your augmented reality. You won't need holograms, they'll just be there. Yeah, whatever. On you augment 20 years from now. Told you so. Yeah. Interesting. Crackpot? Tinfoil hat? Maybe. It's possible to do. Will it happen? We'll see. that'll do for now. I'll get back to retro stuff soon. Thank you for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the thumbs up button. I upload videos daily, so go ahead and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. To all those who've already subscribed, I'd just like to say a great big thank you.